Hey folks, checking in with you on a Thursday. It's the 15th, is it? Yeah, of April. Having some morning coffee. My back is still in recovery. Um, everything, almost everything had to shift. So besides building those cabinets and removing the old cabinets, I had to construct these things. And then they're easy, but still, I made a couple of mistakes and had to start over on a couple of them. And one of them I didn't catch the mistake until I had started loading records. So, I appreciate that folks, care about me, but the reason why I live alone is because I'm one of those kind of people who it's like, I don't like people giving me advice. It's not that you don't have anything to share, but it's like my responses, can be kind of like, oh, wait, and it has to do with the way things have gone in my life, So don't take it personally. If you offer me advice or ask me questions, questioning what I'm doing and my responses, just leave it alone, because it's like I didn't made it this far. I'll be 66 in July, People help me, but it's like I figure things out, you know. It does also have to do with race, where a lot of times my thought is, am I being perceived as some kind of dummy, or I don't know what I'm doing, or I still get it. It's subtle. In record collecting groups, subtle little comments where people will be saying or commenting or questioning as though, who does this black guy think he is with all these records? He doesn't know this stuff. And so I just deal with it. Florian Arbenz, I know you'll see this, and I will just mention this because I've only listened to it once, and that's not a way to review your album. But Florian Arbenz is a drummer, and he shared his latest with me, which I will talk about in the next video. Conversations. Interestingly, one of the things I've discovered moving all these records is it seems like there are records where it's like, I don't remember selling that, but it's not here. Like, for example, I did have several Donovan albums, and I know I got rid of some, but I can only find one. And the same with the band The Association. Now, those aren't essential records at all, but it's kind of like, but again, I give too much information because I'm not concerned about someone trying to hurt me just because you know things about me. But I've had times in my life where it's like, I don't remember doing things. There's music I've written. I go back and hear it. This has been a while in the 90s that this has happened, but I don't remember it. And then when I look back on times when I've sold records, and then I think about how much I liked the record, I don't know why I sold it. So anyway, it's just like, so did I must have, yes, I do have purges, and I'll probably do it, there'll be more. I discovered a few things while moving them where it's like, well, this can definitely go. And there's other things where I can listen, and it's like, well, this could probably go. But a lot of this point I really like. I like just like having it here. And here's the other thing. Thinking about Ron Anderson in New York, where he talked recently about space being an issue, and like he may never listen to records again, so get rid of them. I totally respect that. There's records here that I may never listen to again. But again, for me, it's the idea of having it here available. My personal library. This is something I dreamed of having. Well, more like when I was a kid, around 7 and 8, I can remember having these recurring dreams very strongly. There was a Holiday gas station near my original childhood home that I would go to buy cigarettes for my dad and my mom. And you know how there's that door in the back that leads into the warehouse section. That this Holiday gas station, for a time, ended up having 45s for sale, like cheap, and so I was able to get some of my first records there. So I fantasized about this building, and it just ended up in my dreams, recurring, where somehow I would have the chance to walk through those management doors in the back, and it would go into this huge warehouse of rows and rows of albums in rows stacked to the ceiling, not a regular ceiling, but way up, like in a cathedral. And it was a recurring dream where I was a glad dog in a meat house, and I'd start to browse, and in the dreams I'd see all these records that don't exist, but in the dream they're complete. So in a way, the way that I'm living this is just something I've always wanted. I really enjoy it. Records that are sitting out that I was listening to while doing another thing that I started to do since I discovered the Discogs app on my phone. I really didn't think much of it until a recent visit to Homer's Records, where I saw one of the employees using it to scan records I'd brought in to trade. I didn't know that was there, and so I started to use the scanner to add to my collection. I'm not selling anything on Discogs, but I'm on Discogs, and so I am going to slowly start adding my collection onto Discogs. And while I started to do that last night, I listened to some David Borden, Mother Mallard. He has another thing called David Borden's Mother Mallard's Portable Masterpiece. Those are the ones I like best. This one is well, there's a reason why you don't hear about this one by him. It's not as successful with the ideas. He does these things with the idea of counterpoint, and so part of the appeal is that he's working on an idea and doing something theoretically. It's not always pleasing musically, and on here, part of this is boring, but I'm still glad that I have it in my collection. Here's a 12-inch that was put out by Amorphous Androgynous and DJ Food. Just 2 tracks, The Electric Hoax and then Pray Don't Bother. I just really like it. This big swirling mess. I think it's the best way to put it. And the vinyl fits the sound. It's sort of psychedelic. It's really kind of this big swirling mess. I like it. And psychedelia, to me, the stuff that I like about psychedelia doesn't sound like a mess. Here's something that was sent to me. I forget from who. But I listened to this last night. Really enjoyed this. The group is called Tengger. And this album is spiritual to, I think it's 2 Asian women, possibly. Burbling, bubbling synthesizers, and then drones, and then soundscapes. It's all instrumental. It luckily just kind of, as I was doing the scanning of stuff, it came up after I had listened to Lux by Brian Eno. I scanned my Eno albums last night, and this is lovely. This is lovely. It was worth turning over. It wasn't boring. I listened to 2 sides of this. Beautiful. And then this came later, shortly afterwards. I had forgotten what it sounded like, and it just, by chance, was like almost perfect for after Eno. And the other album sitting down here is one that I often see used, and I got it as part of my Jean-Luc Ponty collection, but it's by Giorgio Gaslini with great players. Those you've been seeing these names. There's Harry Beckett, Tony Oxley, Bruno, all these guys, Paul Rutherford. They come to mind because of Jazz in Britain releasing great recordings with some of these players on them. Same with Discus Music. You know, both of those labels out of England are just top notch. And I listened to this last night, probably for the first time all the way through. This is a free jazz date here with very little written parts. And it does show the versatility of Jean-Luc Ponty, that he can hang, that he was able to hang in this kind of setting. Because he's surrounded with some major players who know how to improvise. So this is no bullshit. I always see it super cheap to this day, and that's damn good. So regarding my shot, I haven't had any other side effects. My arm is almost done being sore. And I get my second shot May 9th. I have, like I'll say it again, I have no faith in any systems, you know, but it's like I'm willing to do this, take this risk. I'm willing to try and help everyone.